Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a lovely week and is looking forward to a fantastic and healthy weekend. Welcome to our new member, Sam. Good to have you on board. Welcome, Muaz. Nice to have Carolina, our moderator, in the chat helping us out. Hello, everyone. In this class, we are looking at IELTS listening section parts 1 and parts 2, and we are going to be discussing some methods, some ways to practice for a Band 9 score. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. As well as gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of materials, strategies for the IELTS exam to get those Band 9 scores. Welcome, VG, Ramnik. Good to see some of our regular students. Angel, Shushma. Great to see you all. While we wait for a few more of your peers, our academic IELTS website looks like this with the blue background. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center and certified agents. So you're in good hands with us. And to get access to our premium package, all of our materials, click this big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, or at least until you pass the IELTS exam. And our general IELTS website looks like this. Don't confuse the two versions of the test. Make sure you know which one you need to study for. If you're doing IELTS for immigration, then you are looking for general IELTS, and you need to click this big red button there to join our premium package so you can practice and get ready for your test. Shushma, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. All right, students. So, yeah, we have apps, of course. From your app store, you can get Academic IELTS Help, link it to aehelp.com. You can also get General IELTS Help and link it to gieltshelp.com. Ramnik is asking, is your accent a typical Canadian accent? Ramnik, that's a great question. My accent is a typical West Coast Canadian accent. There is really no such thing as a Canadian accent. There are certain words that Canadians pronounce in various ways, but it's more regional. So there's kind of like a West Coast accent, East Coast accent. There's a central northern accent and a central southern accent in North America. Okay, so I speak very similar English to people in Vancouver or Seattle or San Francisco. People in Toronto speak English very similarly to people in New York, Orlando, Miami, okay? People in Winnipeg in central Canada speak English very similarly to people in Michigan, which is central northern US, okay? So it's not really Canadian-American accents, it's more coastal accents. I hope that makes sense. That's an interesting misconception in the world oftentimes. All right, good question. So if you have questions like Ramnik's question, for example, about English or the IELTS, you can always send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. And in the listening section of the IELTS exam, you will mostly hear British accents, but again, in the UK, in Britain, there are lots of different accents in English, depending on where you are, okay? Depending on where you are. Okay, so we've got more classes tomorrow and on Saturday. Make sure you tune in for those. Tomorrow we will look at listening parts 3 and 4 of the exam that we're doing today, so hang around for that. And right now, we will get into our listening test. This is test 1. It's actually the second test in your book after the review exam, okay? So I'm going to play the audio for this listening test part 1 from our website here in just a moment. When I'm playing the audio, you will notice that during the instructions, I will look at part 2, part 3, part 4 of the listening test. That's to get an idea of the topic of each of those parts. This is an important strategy. Okay, so I'm going to mention this to you before we get going. I say this every time, and I really, really hope you remember to do this during your official test. So, strategy one for the listening, okay, and while you listen to the IELTS instructions, you must take a quick look at the topics of part 2, 3, and 4 listening so that you get your brain ready for these ahead of time. Okay, so we're going to do that. And of course, we're going to do listening part 1 as well. So we're going to get into it. Okay. All right. Now, when I play the audio, I'm playing it through my headset microphone in the live class. It's a little bit tricky to switch systems around. So I'm going to play it through my headset microphone and a nice Bose speaker. If it's quiet for you, turn up the volume. Use a headset if you have one. And very importantly, everyone, please put your answers on a separate piece of paper, a separate document, not in the chat. So don't put answers in the chat. We will share the answers at the end. Don't put them in the chat because that can be very confusing for other people who are watching, okay? And so all I'm going to do right now is firstly hop over to our Academic IELTS website here. I'm going to jump into my student account. In my student account, I will find my computer-based IELTS practice exams, my full online academic IELTS course, my IELTS exams, workbooks, and study plans. I will find over 100 lesson videos, and I will find all of my audio CDs. And I'm going to go there. So I'm going to jump into my audio CDs, and because this is test 2, I need CD 2, and because it's part 1, I need this one here. So listening section 1. It's now called listening part 1. Okay, so that's what I'm going for, and we're going to play the audio here, so get ready. Here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 men as one of the men buys a gym membership. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon. I'm interested in purchasing a gym membership.
Of course, sir. What length of membership are you looking for? We have options ranging from 1 month to 2 years.
Can I get one for 3 months? I don't want to make too much of a commitment.
Of course.
The man says he wants a 3-month membership. So this answer has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon. I'm interested in purchasing a gym membership.
Of course, sir. What length of membership are you looking for? We have options ranging from 1 month to 2 years.
Can I get one for 3 months? I don't want to make too much of a commitment.
Of course. Before we can get you started on getting into shape, I'm going to need some personal details from you.
Certainly.
Let's start with your name.
William Bacon.
Bacon spelled the same as the breakfast food?
Yes. Bacon.
Okay, William. Now I need your residential address.
Oh, please call me Bill. I feel odd being called William.
Okay, Bill. So your address then?
Right. I live at 1653 Spooner Street in Liverpool.
Oh, I know that street. My grandmother lived there when I was growing up. The street name is spelled with an A, is it not?
Yes, that's right. Spooner is spelled Spooner.
And your postcode here in Liverpool?
PK387YQ.
TK387YQ?
No, PK387YQ.
Right. Now we need your date of birth.
April 9th, 1980.
And your telephone numbers, starting with your home number.
I don't have a home number, just a mobile number. It is 312-77-8391.
Fine then. Now, do you have any medical issues we should know about, such as asthma?
I have no medical concerns. I am in perfect health as far as I know.
Now, I need to ask you a few questions to find out what type of gym membership fits your lifestyle the best.
There is more than one type of gym membership?
Oh yes, there are a number of different options. We have our most basic membership, which allows you to work out on the machines on the main floor of our town centre facility. Then there is our premium membership, which allows members usage of the machines on the second floor of our town centre facility, as well as access to our third floor lounge.
What is so special about the machines on the second floor?
Nothing really, but our gym is extremely busy, and often the machines on the second floor are the only ones available. However, as I said, they are only open to the premium members.
Tell me about the lounge.
Our lounge is fantastic. The room is big, about 50 feet by 50 feet, and we have 2 large televisions and many comfortable chairs. There is also full bar service and a complimentary snack bar.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
That sounds great. Are there any other membership options?
Yes, there is one more. We call it the Premium Plus membership, and it allows customers to use any of our gym facilities in the country.
So if I go to London or Kent or Newcastle, can I use your gyms there?
Well, yes, but we don't currently operate a gym in Newcastle. We do, however, operate a total of 22 gyms in England, not including this one in Liverpool.
23 gyms, that's impressive. What is the price difference between these memberships?
Well, at your 3-month level, the basic membership is £53. The premium is £84 and the Premium Plus is £95.
That's quite a step up from basic to premium.
Yes, but it's quite good value for the additional services and location options.
I'll have to think this over a bit before I make a decision.
Just so you know, Bill, we are running a promotion right now. If you sign up another person along with yourself, we will give both of you premium memberships for the price of basic memberships.
Wow, that's a great deal. I wonder who I should ask to join with me. Greg loves to work out, but he's already has a gym membership. I could ask Steve, but he's so busy with work all the time. I think I will ask my neighbour Kate. She's been trying to get back into shape after having her baby last autumn.
Wonderful. I will see you soon then.
Yes, you will. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Mike, and it was a pleasure helping you.
I will hopefully be in tomorrow with Kate. Does 11 work?
No, sorry, I'm not in until midday.
I will see you midday then.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, and use that half minute to check your answers. Look for spelling mistakes. Look for mistakes with the instructions, maybe writing too many words. Okay, everyone. So that was listening part 1. They don't call it section 1 anymore. They call it part 1 since 2020. That was a small change in the IELTS. The other small change that they made to the listening section in 2020 is they took out the example from listening section part 1. So you're not going to hear this kind of an example anymore. So if you're looking at some of the older exam books for Cambridge, for our exams as well, you'll see that, but don't worry, it's not a big difference. Just be prepared for that. Okay, so when the instructions were going on, and the instruction time is just a little over a minute, use that instruction time to look at the topics of part 2, part 3, and part 4 in more detail. So in this case, were you able to catch part 2, part 3? So what was, for this example here, what was the topic? So what were the topics for part 2, part 3, and 4? What did you catch there? Okay, in the computer-based exam, it's really easy to check because you can literally just click one button and then you'll jump right there. So Carolina says, part 2 was provinces of Canada. Part 3 was something about a student and a professor. And part 4 was T-Rex. Ramnik says something about the map of Canada. And part 4 was something about dinos. Okay. Sammy says something about college admission for part 2 maybe. Or sorry, part 3. Yeah. So Western Canada maybe. More specifically, it was actually the city of Calgary. Okay. For part 2. And for part 3, it was indeed a student and professor conversation. Okay. And part 4 was about dinos. Specifically, the T-Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay, so if you were able to catch this information during the instruction time, that's great because that's going to really help you when you get to those parts. Your brain's thinking about it, you're collecting information. Maybe if your cousin's in Calgary, like for Ramnik, then you know that Calgary gets pretty cold in the winter, but gets quite warm in the summer. You might even know that the Winter Olympics were in Calgary at some point in the past. Okay, good. So that's what you want to identify. And then you get into answering these part 1 questions. So part 1 is generally quite easy compared to part 2, 3, and 4. So part 2, 3, 4 are definitely much more challenging than part 1. Part 1 is just very basic English about demographics, so age, phone number, address, credit card number. Some simple English that you really must know to function at a starter level in an English-speaking society, or when you're traveling, right? Like if you're traveling and somebody asks you for your address for shipping, you have to be able to use this English. So first, of course, the name. So this man is looking to get a gym membership in England, and his name is William something. What's his name? William what? Shardor says it's William Bacon, like the breakfast food, right? Like a slice of bacon. Yeah, B-A-C-O-N. So, yeah, it's B-A-C-O-N. This has to be a capital B because it's a name. Bacon. If you write all capitals like this, that's okay. But I suggest only doing that when you're transferring your answers to the answer sheet, because writing all capital letters is slower. It's bigger, it's slower movements, okay? So careful with that. Okay, capital B, very important. If you wrote a small b, it will be marked wrong. All right? Okay, and there we have Pavan showing us a little slice of bacon. Yeah, emoji bacon. Very good. They will not accept an emoji bacon as the answer, but you have the right idea, Pavan. Okay. All right. So the address, they give you part of the address. You should only put in the information that's missing. So don't put 1653 into your answer sheet or into the space in your computer-based exam, right? So the address is 1653 something street. Amra says it's Spoonar Street, spelled with an A, right? They emphasize that. Oh, it's spelled with an A, isn't it? Yes, it's spelled S-P-O-O-N-A-R, spoon, like the spoon. I don't know if there's an emoji for that, but like the spoon that we eat with, okay? And finishing with an A-R, Spoonar Street, okay. Again, you have to have a big S. When you write a big S, make sure it's big, like spoonar. Okay? If you write a half size or let's say three-quarter size or 2/3, like it's like this. Okay? And you're like, well, it's a big S. If the examiner can't see that clearly, they'll mark it wrong. So when you're writing those capital letters, make sure they are capital. They should be twice the size of your lowercase letters. Okay? There's the spoon emoji. Good. I'm happy to see it. Yeah. So, spoonar. Okay? Very good. Okay? They will not have emojis on your official IELTS exam, but they're fun in the chat. Okay, the city is Liverpool. What's the postal code? Postal code, don't worry about spaces. Write the letters as capitals. Okay, listen carefully. They will often repeat the postal codes and the phone numbers twice, so don't panic. Okay, Sammy says it's PK387YQ. Ramnik, Shardor, Bakrat, Huang all second that as well. So indeed it is PK387YQ. PK387YQ. And again, just make sure that your letters are really, really clear. Okay? No need to worry about spacing. Residential phone number. So number 4, the administrator, Mike, says, and what's your phone number? What does the man say? It's kind of an interesting answer. So what's the phone number? Amra says it's 312-778391. Nope. That's the girlfriend's mobile number. Fadhil says it's none. Bakrat says it's NA, not applicable. Yeah, none is okay. Okay, or you could write NA, not applicable. Sure, there's none. Or I believe the instructions say, well, it doesn't say no more than 2 words in this case. So you could probably just go with no number. However, if you're thinking like number 4, what should I put? Should I put NA, not applicable, or no number? This helps you here. Look at other questions. So the the administrator, the staff at the gym says, do you have any medical issues? And he says, no, none. Okay, so you have this answer here. So use this to help you here. If you're like, I'm not sure what I should put, you can put none. Obviously, if they've put none there, you can put none there. Okay, so that helps. So look always at all of the content of the listening that you're provided with, because oftentimes ensuing information, so information that you see later, helps you to be confident with previous answers. Okay. Kwan La says, is no acceptable? Kwan, I would say no. If I use no, it's kind of an awkward answer. Residential number. If I say, do you have a residential number? And you say no, I would kind of be like, okay. But I would put no number. Okay. If it says no more than 2 words, I would say no number like that instead of just no. Okay. Easiest answer though is none. Okay. All right. So use information that's provided to help you. Okay. I'm going to make a note of that for you. Strategy 2. Make sure to look carefully at the information that is provided in the listening section questions to help you with some answers. Okay, it's important. All right, and then we had this little bit of a mapping type question where you have different kinds of memberships, and the premium membership, which is the second level of membership, allows members access to the lounge. And the man describes the lounge. So A is this one here, B is this one here, and C or D. So you've got 2 big squares, you've got 2 rectangles, and then you've got different organization of the bar, the television, and the chairs and such. All right. So Amra says B. Shardor says B. Ramnik says A. Sammy says A. Carolina says A. A is the correct answer. Why? What does the man say? So A is the correct answer for 2 reasons. Firstly, B and D are not correct. Yeah, Paulo says the sides have the same dimensions. Yeah, so the man says it's 50 feet by 50 feet. So we know it's a square. Okay, 50 feet by 50 feet, it's got to be a square, so it cannot be a rectangle. Okay, so we know it's a square, so it can only be either A or C. Now, how do we know that it's A and not C? Aha. Ramnik says, well, it's got more chairs. Yeah, exactly. So we can assume that all of these little squares here are the chairs in front of the television, and here we only have 1 chair. And the man says there are many chairs in front of the television. Okay. Yahor, absolutely, these live streams are saved on the channel along with our other popular videos, so you can come back and check it out later. And the listening audio, of course, was at the beginning of the class. Okay. All right, so A is the correct answer. Now, for question 6, you have to have 2 correct responses, okay? Which, I mean, it's intuitive, because if you get 1 right, you'll get the other one right. If you get 1 wrong, you'll get the other one wrong. So question 6, Match the membership option. So A is 3 is the basic, which means access to the main floor. So basic gym membership, access to the main floor. Premium membership, what does that give you? So B is 1. Very good, Huang. And C is 2. Yeah, so you literally, in the computer-based exam, all you would do is just type 1 and 2. And in the paper-based exam, in your answer sheet, you would have question 6, and you would just put it like that into your answer sheet in the paper-based exam, and then you will get question number 6 correct. Now, use your logic, students. In the listening, it's really important to use your logic. When I did my IELTS exam last time in Budapest, there were a couple questions where I kind of spaced out. I was like, whoa, what were they saying? But I was able to answer them using logic and ended up with a band 9 anyway. So if you think about a gym and a gym membership, right? They talk a lot about access to the lounge for the premium membership. And it makes sense that your premium plus, like if you have a super duper gym membership, it basically means that you can use all of their gyms anywhere in England if it's a franchise, okay? So logic is very, 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 very powerful in the listening and in the reading, well, generally in life as well. But definitely remember to rely on logic during the exam, okay? Okay, yeah, and Paulo says, well, if you don't get to the main floor, you can't get anywhere in the gym. Possibly. I mean, could be a way around that. Okay, so here we had some short answers. This is called a short answer type question. It's not fill in the blank. It's short answer because you have the question and then a short answer. So no more than 2 words, right? So number 7, how many gyms does the company operate in England? Okay. They say it clearly. So the man says, oh, so you have 22 gyms, not including this one. And then the other man says, oh, yeah, so you have 23 gyms. Yeah, exactly. 23 gyms. So all you need there is the number 23. Please do not write 23. Even though it would be correct if you spell it correctly, it's much faster and easier to use the number. What is the cost of the premium membership? Next one, how much does the premium membership cost? Very good, Akshay. £84. You do not need to put the symbol or the word pounds because it's given for you. Again, do not double up on given information. They will mark that wrong, okay? So just 84. That's it. That's all you need, okay? Who is Bill going to ask to join the gym? So they talk about it. He thinks about it. He's like, one of my friends, they've already got a membership. So I'm going to ask my neighbor. Shardor, don't write the number 84. Just write don't write the words 84. Just write the number 84, okay? Amra says, Kate, the neighbor. Yeah, and all you need here is Kate, okay? Always choose the more specific answers. So don't write neighbor, write Kate, okay? So Kate. Neighbor Kate is okay. All you need is Kate, okay? Okay, and what time is Bill meeting Mike the next day? So he says, okay, I'll come and meet you tomorrow then at 11. And then Mike says, that's not going to work. I'm not in till when? Amra says midday. It's one word, students. Midday. Midday. We generally never write mid as a separate word. Mid is more of a preposition than a root word. So midday is one word. Mid coming from middle. Okay. So midday. The midday meal, Pavan, would be your lunch, but you wouldn't say that. Okay. It's just midday. Okay. All right. British often will say midday, but in the US, Canada will say noon. Okay, midday is the more accurate answer. You should use what you hear. So if you write noon, I think they'll take that because it's a perfect synonym. Perfect synonyms can be accepted, but it's better to write the same word, the exact same word that you hear. Okay? So, yeah, you could also write 12, Akshay, but you'd have to write 12 p.m. Okay? So make sure if you write 12, you write 12 p.m. Okay? Because 12 could be 12 a.m. English cultures often use the 12-hour clock, so use 12 p.m. 12 p.m. is midday or is considered noon. Okay? So that's okay as well. All right, how did you do? So Sidhu says, got 9 out of 10. Ken Fumbao says, I got 10 out of 10. Ramnik says, got them all. That's great. So yeah, in part 1, your goal is always to get 9 or 10. Okay, if you're getting less than 9 or 10 from 10, you might be in trouble to get a good band score because part 2, 3, and 4 are going to be much more challenging. Okay, so you're definitely concentrating to get 9 or 10 in part 1. All right. Okay, everyone, you're doing fantastic. Let's do part 2. All right, let's get right into part 2. And you're going to see it's more challenging, so you really have to pay attention. Once again, I'm going to play the audio through my headset. If it's quiet for you, turn up the volume. And once again, students, do not put answers in the chat so that everybody can answer on their own. Okay? All right. Here we go, everyone. So let's go back to our website at aehelp.com and let's fire up CD2 track 2. Here we go. Get ready to listen and answer. And we know it's something to do about Western Canada, specifically Calgary in this case.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a travel show about tourism to Calgary, Canada. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Deborah Sloan and welcome to Hotspots, the travel show that highlights great tourist spots around the world. Today we have a representative from Calgary, Canada, who is going to tell us a little about the city.
Thanks, Deborah. Yes, my name is Robert and I'm going to tell you all about the wonderful city of Calgary.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt, Robert, but can you tell me exactly where Calgary is? I'm sure many of our viewers are wondering.
Sure. Calgary is the largest city in the province of Alberta, which is the second most western province in Canada. Alberta lies directly east of the province of British Columbia, of which Vancouver is a very well-known tourist destination, and directly west of the province of Saskatchewan, of which Regina is the capital. Canada is a very big place, and that is shown by just how far Calgary is from many of the other major Canadian cities. Calgary is over 1,000 kilometres from Vancouver and over 3,400 kilometres from Toronto, Canada's largest city.
Canada is definitely a very spacious country.
Yes, indeed. Well, let me tell you a little about Calgary. Calgary is a beautiful city of approximately 1 million people, situated next to the Rocky Mountains. It is known most, perhaps, for the world-famous Calgary Stampede.
Is that with the cowboys and bull riding?
Yes, and it's held every July in the city. The Stampede attracts more than 1 million visitors each year from all over the world. It is referred to as the greatest outdoor show on earth. Another fact that Calgary is well known for is oil, which was first discovered in the area in 1902. With the boom in oil prices over the past 40 years, Calgary has seen its population grow from 400,000 in 1971 to over 1 million in 2007. In that time period, Calgary was by far the fastest growing city in Canada. Many sports fans will know that Calgary was host to the 1988 Winter Olympics, and to this day, Calgary remains a winter activity destination with several world-class facilities dedicated to many winter sports, from bobsled to curling to speed skating and everything in between. One of Calgary's biggest icons is its hockey team, the Calgary Flames, who play in the National Hockey League, or NHL as it's better known. They have been one of the more successful teams in the league during their 30 years in Calgary, even winning the coveted Stanley Cup in 1989.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
On the cultural side of things, Calgary boasts a number of festivals during the year, including a fringe festival, a comedy festival, as well as the Calgary International Film Festival. Calgary is also home to numerous theatre companies, as well as the Calgary Opera, Alberta Ballet, and the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra.
Sorry to interrupt again, Robert, but this programme is called Hotspots. So what's the weather like in Calgary? I've heard it's cold.
Yes, in the winter it can be quite cold, but in the summer it is also quite warm, with average summer high temperatures hovering around 23 degrees Celsius, while average winter high temperatures are around -2 degrees and routinely go down to -20. Calgary experiences something quite unique when it comes to the weather. It has these weather fronts called Chinook winds, which can blow through the city in the winter and temporarily raise the temperature by up to 15 degrees Celsius. These Chinook winds can last anywhere from a few hours to a few days, and they are welcomed with open arms by the people of Calgary. Calgary is also one of the sunniest cities in Canada, as well as one of the driest, which makes up for a lot of the cold weather. Honestly though, if you're looking for a winter getaway to a hotspot, as you say, Calgary is not the place to go. But if you are looking for a winter getaway that includes skiing or snowboarding or anything else done best in the cold weather, nobody does it better than Calgary.
Thank you, Robert, for that fascinating look at Calgary.
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And again, students, check those answers. I'm just going to hop back to our website here and stop the audio so we don't go into part 3. And now we'll go through the answers together. So as you're obviously realizing, part 2 is much more challenging than part 1. You get into real life situations. It's not going to be a university lecture. It will be something like a radio show, a TV show type of question, something that's common, that's everyday life, right? How well can you understand common cultural situations in an English-speaking country? So, the first question here is, what are the two provinces directly west and directly east of the province of Alberta? Having some knowledge of geography, especially if you're planning to move to Canada, is a very good idea. So match the diagram with the choices given below. Okay, so you have your choices: Vancouver, Saskatchewan, Calgary, British Columbia, and Regina. Alberta is the province. Calgary is, if it's a square, let's say it'd be there somewhere. So Calgary is, well, maybe a little bit more in, somewhere around there. Calgary is a city situated in Alberta. So 11 and 12 are provinces. 11 is west of Alberta. So Alberta is east of this province, and it's west of this province. Okay, so a little bit trickier here. Number 11, what's the correct answer? Mansour says 11 is D and 12 is B. Very good. 11 is D. I should definitely know that because that's where I live. on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And then 12 is the beautiful prairie province of Saskatchewan. Okay, so make sure to practice directions. Now with directions, prepositions become very important, like of, from, to. Okay, so 11 is D, 12 is B. All right, and you should know that the next province over is Manitoba. The next province over is Ontario. A little bit above Ontario is Quebec. And above that is Labrador, Newfoundland. Okay, so you should have an idea of Canada's layout, especially if you're planning to move there. All right? Okay. So those were the correct answers. All right. Questions 13 and 14, the order doesn't matter. The speaker talks about 1 million people in a couple of different contexts. For these ones, you should take notes when you're listening. So take notes, use your note paper. In the computer-based exam, use the piece of paper that they give you at the beginning of the listening section. Take some notes. So 1 million people is the number used to describe two groups. What are the correct answers? Population of Alberta, population of BC, British Columbia, population of Calgary, number of visitors to the Calgary Stampede each year, or the number of visitors to Calgary each year. Okay. Paulo says 13 could be C. And Paulo says 14 could be D. Yeah, absolutely. C and D are the correct answers. Okay, so the population of Calgary, 1 million people. The number of visitors to the Calgary Stampede each year is 1 million people. So during that time, of course, when it's not COVID, the population of Calgary doubles to 2 million people. Can you imagine a city that goes from 1 million people to suddenly 2 million people for a few weeks each year? Okay. Gunjan's asking, why not B? The population of British Columbia is roughly 4 million people, Gunjan. The population of Vancouver, which is a big city in British Columbia, is 2.5 million. So that would be an incorrect answer, and they don't talk about that. Okay, here we go. Choose the correct letters, A, B, or C. Number 15, which industry is Calgary well known for? And if you've seen pictures of Calgary, you would definitely know this. Is it A, wheat, B, oil, or C, natural gas? Shardor, Sami, and Ramnik agree with Rushikesh that it's B. Yeah, oil. Alberta has some big oil fields, and you would see all the big oil pumps when you're flying over Calgary. Yeah, so correct answer 15 is B. For multiple choice, always listen for the answer. Okay, so it's well known for oil. All right, number 16, which of these events did Calgary host? A, the Stanley Cup, B, the Winter Olympics, or C, Expo 88. Okay, Shardor says hockey tournament. Carolina for number 16 says Winter Olympics. Debarak agrees. Yes, Calgary was host to the Winter Olympics. I can't remember the exact year, but yeah, they were host to the Winter Olympics. Bonus question. I always love asking this question because I'm so proud of it, but as a Canadian, so how many Winter Olympics has Canada been host to? So Canada, of course, being a country that's quite cold during the winter months. Bonus question for those of you who are sports or history buffs. How many Winter Olympics has Canada hosted? How many Winter Olympics? Anybody know? Some people say 2. Rumnik says 4. UV says 6. Those are some good guesses. Answer is, anybody get it? Raghav got it. I don't know if it was a guess or not. It's 3. 3. Montreal, Calgary, and most recently, the one that I went to was Vancouver in 2010, if some of you remember that. So Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver were host to the Winter Olympics. A little bit of sports history for you in Canada, yeah. And in Vancouver, Canada set a new world record for gold medals in the Winter Olympics. So we were very, very proud of that as Canadians. There's some patriotism for you. Beating Russia. So Russia had the record for gold medals, and in 2010, Canada set a new record for gold medals. Okay, question number 17. Write no more than 2 words and or a number for each answer. Number 17, average summer highs in Calgary reach how many degrees Celsius? They give you Celsius, so you do not have to include it. 17, Rumnik says 23 or 23 degrees. Just 23 is enough. If you wrote 23 degrees, it's okay. 23 is enough. Okay? All right. Let's keep going. So here we had a little bit of a summary completion or paragraph completion. Write no more than 2 words and or a number. Average winter highs in Calgary reach something 2 degrees. What was it? Anybody get that? Pavan Mansur agree that it's minus 2 degrees. Yeah, very good. Minus 2 degrees. And you definitely need the word there, not the symbol. Careful. Chinook winds can raise the temperature by up to 15 degrees Celsius. So just imagine suddenly you get this weird warm wind and it goes from minus 2 degrees to plus 13 and can last anywhere from a few hours to a few, what? Akshay says days. Okay. And days it is. Minus 2 degrees is not that terribly cold. I lived in Winnipeg, which is in the province of Manitoba, and with the wind chill, it got down to minus 30 degrees, so that was cold. All right, Calgary is one of the driest cities in Canada, as well as one of the, last one here, everyone. Let's see how you did. It's one of the driest days, or one of the driest cities, as well as one of the sunniest. Very good. UV 302 got it. VG got it. Sunniest. Yeah, sunniest. Driest and sunniest. Most sunny. Yeah, there's a lot of sunshine there. So if you like sunshine, Calgary is a great place to be. Okay, so that was number 20. All right, how did you do, students? So how did you perform on part 2? Or I should say, what did you get part 1, part 2 combined? So if you think about your part 1 plus your part 2, what did you get? Ideally, if you're going for a band 6.57 or more, at this point, you should have at least 16 correct. If you have less than 16, Hoang Nguyen says 20 out of 20. Hoang, that's fantastic. Paulo Pavan, 19 out of 20 is brilliant, okay? UV, 12 out of 20. You're dropping band scores. Careful. Part 3, Part 4 are coming up, and they're even more challenging, okay? Deepika, 16 out of 20. That's your baseline. That's like you're doing okay. Just be really careful in Part 2, Part 3. Potato says, why is it not the driest for the last question? Because that's what they give you. Okay, so Potato Op, it says Calgary is one of the driest cities in Canada, so you can't say driest. Careful with that. They often will flip that. That's a good question, Potato Op. So in the audios, they say Calgary is one of the sunniest cities in Canada, as well as one of the driest. But you notice that here they actually flip the order of the answers. So you have to pay attention and make sure that you don't say the same one twice. Okay, it's a tricky one. All right. Dorsa, no, sunniest is the correct answer because you have driest here. Okay, just like what I said. All right, everyone. So great job. We're going to do part 3 and part 4 tomorrow at the same time, so you can get a feeling for the whole exam and also get some strategies that are really useful for you. So again, you will find all of the audio on our website at aehelp.com, and you can see there's lots of practice exams and audio. Well, there's like so many. I was just flying through those, but yeah, tons and tons of audio to help you. General IELTS exam, it's at gieltshelp.com, and just click these big red buttons to join our premium packages. It doesn't cost very much. We have one of the most affordable rates in the world and one of the best online IELTS programs in the world. That's why we're so popular. Okay, that's it for today, everyone. Again, tomorrow I will be back. Members, you will have a Task 1 class tomorrow. Carolina, thank you for moderating the chat, keeping it clean, keeping it efficient. Always much appreciated. Thank you, members, for your support. Thank you, students, for watching. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the very west coast of Canada, capital city of British Columbia. Have a great night, everyone. Good rest to those of you in countries where it's late. If you're just starting your day, then hop to it. I'm signing out for now. Bye.